So what we're going to do, because this is our week number 5, today what we're going to study is showing empathy, which is one of the soft skills that we have to remember that every day, not only when working, but also in your personal life. You know, empathy is something that we need to have as Christians. First of all, as Christians, if you believe in God, you know, as believers, as son of God, we need to practice empathy. So just to brainstorm a little bit, uh, do you know what empathy is? Maybe you can write what it means for you, what empathy means for you. You can write in the chat, you know, something that you feel about empathy. Uh, so I'm gonna be reading your comments in the chat. So what is empathy for you? What is empathy for you? Let's see some of your definitions. If there is someone who would like to open his or her mic, just make sure first you raise your hand, then unmute yourself, so we can hear some of you um, talking about a little bit about this. What's empathy? Nobody. Nobody knows what empathy is. Okay. So just going back with the assignment, in the case that you didn't do that you didn't do the conversation because you didn't have a partner, I mean, you could have created yours, right? You could have created yours. So what we're going to do today is to go back to that, and we're going to practice some of the pointers that you studied, based on the cards and what we studied last Sunday. So if you didn't do your conversation because you didn't have a partner, we're going to have some time today after, you know, like brainstorming a little bit about empathy. Then you're going to be working in pairs, and then you can get some ideas. Remember that the conversation from the role play cards had to be posted in your website. So it's not necessarily that you had to do it in pairs. That was just for practicing and also to help, right? If you didn't have a partner, if you didn't have a classmate to work with, you can create it by yourself and upload it to the website. So we're going to see some definitions. So Stephanie Carolina says empathy is the ability to emotionally understand what other people feel. Good. Dora Rivera writes in the chat, the ability to show emotion, abilities, or feelings with others. Good. I really like that. Feelings with others. So Jessica says, empathy is about understand other people. Good. Evelyn, yeah, and Stephanie corrected herself. Yeah, I know you wanted to write feel, you know, like the L was missing at the end. So Evelyn Chavarria, it is the ability of a person to perceive the feelings, thoughts, and emotions of others. Good, perceive. You know, I really like that when you say perceive. Natalie Eunice, to be kind and try to understand someone else's feeling. Understanding. Okay, that's really nice. I really like that word too. Understanding. Understanding. Fabricio says being able to place yourself in someone else's shoes. Yeah, that's that's the definition that is more popular. You know, like when it says when people say put on someone else's shoes. So that's empathy with Fabricio. So Jacqueline says, understand what happens to the other person. We must put ourselves in the place of other people and think about how we would feel if the same happened to us. Yes, that is basically empathy. Like to be in someone else's position, and like to react. How would I feel if that would happen to me? Good. So Alicia says, imagining that it would be like to be in that person's situation. Yes, good. Understand another person's thoughts and feelings in a situation from their point of view. Good, very good. I see lots of good comments from what you have, and all of you are right. It's empathy is basically deals with understanding how a person feels, but not about how a person feels, but also what a person thinks, right? Because uh, it's hard just to get in someone else's feelings. It's different. Like if we think about what this person thinks. Good. We have more comments. So Rosa Maribel says to refer to the sensation and feeling we get in response to other emotions. Yes, is to perceive the feeling and thoughts of the other person. Yeah, that's what I was telling you. Like perceiving, right? And how can we perceive someone else's feelings? Sometimes it comes from experience, right? Because you cannot feel like another person probably feels if you have never gone through that specific part of your life. Like for example, and I'm gonna be a little bit honest. Okay, let's check over here. uh, yeah, Nolasco says there is lack of empathy in our lives. We people suffering and we don't help them. That's totally true, and that's something that I want to talk a little bit. I want to open my heart a little bit with you today. Normally, uh, like some years ago, like yeah, let's say like 5 years ago, I was like this kind of person who, when I heard someone saying, "Hey, uh, let's say I'm going to invent Alberto. Let's say when Alberto's father died, and Alberto is someone that I knew. Let's say I'm inventing a name. Alberto is someone that I knew. Uh, I would say, ay, a mí no me gustan ir a las velas. Es que eso de estarse desvelando, and I don't like to be with people who are crying, and I'm not gonna go. So I was this kind of person, like would never go to this type of events. Unfortunately, my mom died like 3 or 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And I my perception about that changed a lot, because I really felt uh, people's um, empathy when my mom died. And when she died, I perceived how important it is to have people's covering my back. And I know that there would be people, like thinking like I was thinking in the past, like, no, I'm not gonna go, and why would I go, and etc. So right now I'm trying to be more empathetic with that. So when I know that someone has lost someone I know, has lost someone, a very important person in his or her life, I try to say, people helped me, people gave me support when I needed. I know how it feels, so I'm gonna try, like to support this person as well. So empathy comes a lot from experience. That's what I'm telling you. You feel empathetic when you have gone through a similar moment, right? And you can think about that because you know how it feels. Like uh, I'm giving you like moments, like not like really really hard, like that I have gone through. But for example, when you see someone, let's say one of your friends, and you see that your friend probably hasn't had any breakfast, and you can go to the cafeteria, and probably you see this person, like a zombie, and you don't know if this person has has eaten, or if this person has money to buy something. And then you will say like, hey, you look tired, why don't we go and eat something to the cafeteria, at least, like a cookie, or a Coca-Cola, like something something not too expensive, just to help someone. So that's empathy. Like how would be to be in someone else's shoes. And that's what we're going to learn. So being empathetic is not a skill. It's not something that you develop, because you cannot develop or practice empathy. Empathy is something that comes from your heart, right? It's not something that someone teaches you to be empathetic. It's just to feel, right? That's what I like it when some people wrote in the chat. It's about perception. Sometimes, empathy doesn't come from uh, someone asks you to do it. It is when you feel it. Like when you perceive it. Empathy is not when people ask you to do something. Empathy is when it comes from your heart, right? And obviously, what we have right now in this world lately is not empathy, right? We have a lot. We see a lot of people, you know, uh, especially with Salvadorans. Like sometimes we are not empathetic, right? Like I was telling you a couple of sessions ago, like working in a call center, that's something that, it might happen. You can work in a call center once, but and then you're gonna go and gonna work in another place, probably teaching, like teaching, being a teacher, you have to develop also this skill, but it has to come from your heart, right? When you see a kid, for example, that probably has problems in his house or in her house, and you see this kid, like laying down on the table, the kid is not asking you for help, but you see, sometimes you have the perception, and then you may go and ask the kid, hey, are you okay? You look sad, you look like this, right? So, so Lorena says being empathetic helps a lot in a job. Yes. For example, in a call center as we see it now, but helps more life itself. That's what I was telling you. Again, Lorena is completely right. I mean, you can be empathetic in your job, but remember that you also have to be empathetic in your house, right? and that and that happens, sometimes we are not empathetic in the house. So if we want to be more empathetic, we have to start in our house, right? um Everything that you do, everything, who you are, all the things that you do, they have to start from the house. For example, obviously I'm not teaching life skills, because I'm not like the most perfect person in the world to talk about that. But I remember that when my mom used to come from work, she was working all day long, And when she arrived to the house, the only thing that she wanted to do was to rest a little bit, right? So I remember that my brother, my older brother, and I, when she arrived, like we were asking her how to cook dinner. We were very little. We were like 10 or 11. But we felt, like, oh, my mom is tired. Probably we can help something. Or like doing the chores in the house, right? And later, when my mom uh, was getting to buy things, like she was sometimes, like saying, oh, I'm craving for tamales today. Craving is antojo. So I'm craving for tamales today. So she just say it like, I want to eat something. So being empathetic is like, oh, my mom wants to eat something nice today. So I would go and say, hey, we should go and get some tamales if you want tamales. So that is a little bit of empathy. So everything you are, you have to start working on your personality and your life skills at home. Everything starts at home, right? So that would be just like a short introduction. It's just like short introduction. That's something I hope that like when that's something that the teachers, that usually happens with teachers, that I hope that when we share something, probably from the 39 persons that are in are listening to me, there would be at least one person that may think, uh, yeah, like the teacher is right. So and I think, and personally, and I have to confess this, um, we can develop all these beautiful aspects of our lives with our parents, because they are the ones that deserve them more, especially moms. I know sometimes fathers are not so, probably so committed to the things in the house, or probably they are not so loving, or caring, because I don't know, sometimes we as men are like that. But you know all these beautiful things that you can develop is with your mom. That's I someone One lady once told me, uh, y mire, y usted ya tiene novia. En aquel entonces que yo no tenía novia. Y le digo, no, fíjese que no tengo novia. Mire, me dice, si usted quiere saber si es buena mujer, métase a la casa y vea cómo trata a su mamá, a su papá, a su abuelita o su abuelito. Allí va a saber si es buena mujer, si los atiende, si es cariñosa y todo. Y vaya a meterse a la casa y ahí lo va a ver. And it's the same for men, right? Why? Because all this, you have to start doing it by home, right? So that's what this lady told me, right? That I have to pay attention to um, how my future girlfriend, wife, surrenders herself in the house. So that was her piece of advice. So that's what I say. Prepare to be a good human, a better human. And then when you go to work, it's easy, like to work, and to develop all everything that you need in your life as person, etc. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna be sharing with you my screen. Uh, as I said, this is the introduction. In a couple of minutes, we're going to work in pairs, and you're going to be able to participate again and role play the homework assignment that we developed. Okay, so it says showing empathy. That's our fifth class, and this is something that I want you to think about, right? There are different ways in which we can act, and here you have the three uh, uh, ways to be. So the first one is just looking and being um, you know, redundant to what is happening to someone. When you know, like it's raining, you have your umbrella, but you cover yourself. You don't do anything else. You are no servant. And then we have empathy. Empathy is trying to feel like the other person feels, right? That's empathy. But being empathetic is not enough. I may say, sometimes we can help, we can do more than just feel empathy. And I say, yeah, I understand you, but it's not about understanding someone, is to do something for people. And as I said, I'm not talking about something that you're going to develop only in your work. I mean, it's in your life in general. So this is where empathy uh, enters into your life, and later you have compassion. So compassion is a step further. It is just, I know how you feel. I'm gonna do something for you, or I'm gonna do something to relieve your pain, or to to help a little bit on yourself, helping you to be better, to feel better. So that's compassion. To use the umbrella that I have, um, to make the other one feel uh, a little bit happier, right? So that's compassion. That's compassion. Obviously, what we do in call center basically is more empathy, and obviously you're getting paid to help, right? So that's not compassion. I mean, don't misunderstand that concept. Compassion is like exactly, you do it because you want to, because it comes from your heart, because no one is giving you anything. It's not because they are going to give you something back because of the good option of helping. It's just because you want to, right? It's because you want to. So that's a little bit about empathy and compassion. Obviously, today we are going to be talking about the second one, which is empathy, because like the module is about working in call center, right? It's not about developing life skills. If you want to develop life skills, you get this specific topic, empathy, and then you reflect on yourself, and then you may see how you can go forward and practice it and show compassion, which is something completely different. So what I'm gonna do right now, because we had an assignment. Okay, we had, let's say, two assignments, right? The first one, was about. Okay, Melissa. Um, so the second one was about the video. I posted a video about some tips on how to deal with angry customers. So I hope that you read it, right? And what we're going to do right now, because we have the role play, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to role play it. Um, Remember, the cards are in the WhatsApp group. So if you don't remember, I shared with you the cards in our WhatsApp group. So we're going to take 15 minutes. Yeah, we're going to take 10 minutes. And what I want you to do is to role play it with some of the ideas that you got from creating uh, your your conversation. So I'm going to ask you to work in pairs, because we were in pairs. So we are 39. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna be working in 19 breakout rooms. and you're going to be working in pairs. If there is someone working alone, I'm going to move this person to a group where there are 3 persons, right? So if you have your conversation at hand, go and look for it. If you have a their document, go and look for it too, because we are going to be working in groups. We're going to, as I said, we're going to be recreating um, the role play that you were supposed to have work during the week. Okay, so you're going to be moved. We're going to have 10 minutes to develop this. Okay. Okay, very good. So we're going to continue with our class. This was just a practice to refresh. Also, I mentioned if you weren't able to do the conversation so far, at least that you got some ideas with your classmates. Remember, participation is always very important. So in your group, I hope that you have some conversation with your peers. We're going to, well, if we have time, we're going to do the same at the end. I'm going to practice something new. So I would like you, before moving to the next slide, uh, I want you to think based on the video. Remember, we studied. I show you a video. I posted a video in our website, and I want to know. Well, hold on. Remember, try to log in to the classroom on time. There are some people that join when we are having breakout rooms, and probably you don't know what is happening. So my suggestion, please try to be on time. Uh, Also, I'm telling you, and this is very important too. Remember that there is a percentage of attendance, and this program in Zoom, I have the possibility to check how many minutes you are in the classroom. The classroom approximately lasts like 120 minutes, something like that, 100 minutes, like 2 hours. Uh, so I'm keeping track with my reports how much time you are logging in, right? And obviously, as that is evaluated, then be careful with that. Okay. At the end, I'm gonna write a report and send it to Mr. Peña with the amount of minutes that you have logged in. That's why it is important, if you're gonna log in with your account and with your name, right? If you are not logging in with your name, I'm gonna have problems to 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 give you that grade. If you have been logging in with somebody else's account, please send me a private message on WhatsApp and tell me, hey teacher, you know, let's say Ramon Ramirez from your group from UNIVO, and I just want to tell you that the last Sunday, I on Sunday number 4, I logged in with my brother's account, and his name is Julio Ramirez. So just let me know if you have logged in with another account, because like your name appears in the reports that I get. So I need to modify that. Okay, good. And so based on the video, I mean, there were 6 tips on showing that we do not get angry, that we accept people who are angry, especially with customers, and that we can help customers to soften a little bit the bad experience that they have. So the video showed 6 tips. I think it was 6 or 8. 68, yeah, they were 8 actually. They were 8 tips. Um, uh, who wants to talk about the first one? Who wants to add some points for participation? Okay. So Rosa says, keep you cool. Yes, keep you cool. That will always work. Remember, if we act like the other person, that's gonna be a whole mess. So Rosa says, keep you cool. Good. When the agents are frightened by the sense of not being able to help, they start losing control of the conversation. It is important to find a balance and understand that no matter how we let the level of stress go up or down, there is a problem and a solution can relate, but indeed, it's much better to do it calmly, says Fabrizio. Yes, very good. So I know we as human beings, when someone reacts towards us, angrily, the first sensation is that we should do it that same way, right? And as Fabricio says, we are frightened, like what to do, can we help this person or not? This person is constantly speaking. Uh, I'm gonna yell at him and etc. So humanly, we want to do the same, right? But you need to stay calmly. Number 2. So thank you, Rosa and Fabricio, for your participation. Number 2.
Hello. Hello. I
Yes.
want to talk about the second one.
Okay, tell me.
And the second one is call a customer by asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This tip is very essential since most of the time customer call very angry and want the problem to be solved quickly. At
Mm-hmm.
that moment, what we can do is listen to them calmly without interrupting them. We must give them the opportunity to explain the problem they have. After we let them talk, we can ask them questions about the problem, and they will see that they were really heard and will be more relaxed.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Jacqueline. You see, Jacqueline did a good job. Like she was taking notes. Yeah, we can see that. They were explaining in the video. So over there, like she was taking notes. Very good. So we also have Jessica. Really good. I mean, basically, what Jacqueline said was right. So thank you so much, Jacqueline. Uh, we just need to calm, right, and listen. So Jessica says, calm a customer by asking questions. Yes. So Fabricio Luna again says, first, an agent must look forward to handling the person and later the issue that person is calling for. This will help the agent establish rapport and show that they care about the customers and their well-being. Good. So basically, the number 2 is to calm the customer. How we calm the customer? By listening and asking questions at the end. Yes. And show them that we care by listening. This builds rapport as well. Yes. So Rosa Maribel says, calm a customer by asking questions, talking and explaining, and that will help a customer. That we will help the customer. Good. Very good. Thank you so much. So that was for number 2. Um, so number 3, what do we have for number 3? Remember all of these, the 8 tips they have to be summarized in your website, right? Besides the script of the conversation that you created from the cards that I gave you last Sunday, sorry. So what's number three?
It is use the because justification,
Uh-huh.
which basically means to know about, well, to be fully aware of the philosophy of the company, because sometimes you have to tell that news to the customer and no one wants to hear it, just because of that's the way things are.
Yeah.
Those are the rules. You need to find a way to justify the reason you are saying, or the customer does not have access to anything that you're refusing, or whatever situation that pops in the way.
Okay, very
So
good.
you need to be fully aware of that.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Flavio. So we have Fabio and Flavio. So thank you. So yeah, it's just as I'm gonna read some of the comments from the chat too. It says use the because justification. So all agents must be aware of the importance of letting the customer know everything about the product service with ethics and solid justification that can show they are well informed about it. This will help the customers understand certain policies or rules that perhaps make no sense. That's from Fabricio Luna. Giovanni says just use because justification as well as Olga. I mean, that's what they say. Dora says use the because justification. Use the because justification, and Erika says the same. So the last comments: Giovanni Lopez, Olga Herrera, Dora Rivera, eh, and Rosa and Erika Privado is the because justification. And as Flavio said, it is important to say why the things are, to explain the policies, right? It's not something you're not going to give that, it's because, I mean, yeah, you need to say because, but why? Explain reasons why you are conducting a procedure, why something is happening, to let the customer know what the rules are, and probably help them visualize things that they don't see or they don't make sense to them. Good. So that was number three. So number four, what's number four? So that's what we are kind of going to talk about today. Show compassion. So that's what Rosa says and Jacqueline Velasquez. So Stephanie says, show compassion, not only understand person feeling unless do something that help with the problem. So that's what Olga says, show compassion. Stephanie says, show compassion. This point tell us empathy. Somehow at customer service provides, we gotta need to show compassion about the problem that is facing the caller, not putting aside the rules that the company has, but trying to look for a relief solution. That's very good. I really like that. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing that. Jimmy says, show compassion. As agents, we need to understand some issues and some mistakes people make. We are humans. So that's what Jimmy says. Very good, Jimmy. So Mabel and Reina and Gabriela Villatoro say, show compassion. Mauro says, show compassion. It feels good that the person you are talking to feels your problem. That is why we should try to be compassionate with the people you speak, try to understand them, and not, you can understand their problems. Let's see, not to be indifferent to their problems, show empathy, and this will help you a lot with angry customers. Just Julia says, show compassion. And Melissa writes a little bit about what she understood. When a customer is frustrated, be kind and show empathy. But the most important, compassion. One of the best ways to show compassion to a customer is going to be by letting them know that you are there for them. You can understand, and then that you are there for them. You can understand their problems and you will be the perfect agent to help them. Ramon says compassion, show compassion. And Jacqueline, showing compassion with the client is an excellent idea since it shows them that you are really sorry for the problem they have had, but you try to solve them as quickly as possible. if you do this with the client, it would be excellent. It may be exhausting, but as time passes, it will help you a lot in your work. Good. Um, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of controversial. I was reading an article the other day. Okay, you can be, yeah, you can say empathy, but compassion is compassion is something that you do from your heart, right? And obviously, this is where many people argue. In a call center, do we show compassion? Because basically we're getting paid for that. So there was a point of discussion, right? Some people say it is, some people say it is not. Particularly, I don't think that uh, like by getting paid, obviously we can have that feeling, etc. But sometimes, because it is monetized, it may not be compassion 100%, right? 100%. So that's number 4. What is the topic? What is the name of number 5? What is the tip number 5? Apologize. Yeah, very good. So that's what Stephanie says, and Dalia, and and um, Natalie and Rosa. So it says, let's make clear that most of the time it's not the agent faults why the customer is calling the company. Yes. However, as a customer care agent, it's our duty to apologize sincerely. Yeah, we have to keep in mind that there is no reason why we should take all the blame. Of course, as Fabricio says, we shouldn't be take all of the blame, right? Because basically we are representing the company. It's not that we caused the problem, but we have to apologize. Good, thank you, Fabricio. So Mabel, Jacqueline, Stephanie, Ramon, and Mauro and Gabriela say apologize too. Whether the complaint is valid or inappropriate, you should apologize politely. That's what Ana Gabriela says. Yeah, of course. Politely, that's the key here. And even if it is valid or not, we should apologize. So Stephanie says during the call, we got to use the apologizing mood, use a variety of phrases for expressing we are sorry for the inconvenience they are having by doing the customers will like. Good. So Jessica says, apologize as agent. You have to apologize to the customer, even though it's not your fault or the company's fault. Yes. And Lorena says apologize. So that's number 5. What's number 6? React with politeness. So over here, Herson has written something really, really nice. It says, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. He says, that's the best example of all. This could be a little bit difficult to deal with, but we can transform the situation in a totally different story. Yes, react with politeness. Um, Even though, as I said, we do not have, it's not our fault. We have to be very polite. Yes, Jimmy?
I wanted to say that this also applies to normal life, that people are not going to treat you better if you talk to them in a high tone of voice or if you insult them. This is not only in a call center, but in normal life as well. You have to be polite to everyone, be kind, and respect others if you want to get the same. And in a
Mhm.
call center, of course, if you insult someone, you're going to lose your job as well.
Yeah,
So you have
of
to be
course.
careful.
Yeah, good. Thanks for sharing that, Jimmy. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's for everybody. I mean, as Jimmy said, we are not going to solve any problem if we keep the same tone of voice as the other person um, has. I mean, we won't do it. Yes. So that's what Fabricio says too. There is no need to start a race and see who can scream the loudest. Yeah, very good. So we have people reacting to that: Rosa Maribel, Stephanie Carolina, Jacqueline Gabriela Villatoro, Natalie Eunice, Reina Martinez. Yes. Jimmy says you love yelling. But in which sense, Jimmy? Because, like if you are fighting with someone, nah, you can yell someone and tell, for example, you can yell at your mom telling her how much you love her. We can see that, people yelling at another person saying I love you or something like that, but I mean not negatively, I don't think. So I mean, as you say, and I really like what Harrison's has posted over here. The Bible tells us that what we need to do is just be gentle, that solves many problems. Yes. And even though probably your way of being is you know being aggressive, or that's something that people have. Someone tells you something negative, and what do people say? Pero es que yo así soy bravo, yo no me voy a dejar de nadie. Si a mí me dicen una palabra, yo digo dos. So, but that doesn't solve any problem. Yes, you're just being rude, and being rude is not something that people like, right? So that was number 6, right? And number 7, don't take it personally. Yes, people write it like that. Stephanie, Liana, and Dalia, do not take it personally. In a call center, and I think I mentioned this in like a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's your job, yeah, but you don't need to say, "Oh no, it's my fault," and what the customer told me. He cursed me a lot, and I don't deserve that. Basically, you are getting paid. To sometimes to diffuse anger. Yeah. So Rosa says, don't take it personally. Jacqueline said, don't take it personally too. We just need to make sure that it's not uh, something that we're going to be carrying in our bags. Yeah. So you just finish your job. Then when you cross the door outside from the company, or you hang out the phone, it's over, right? That's the challenge, like when you go out from your workplace, or you stop working, that negativity from taking calls does not impact your life, your daily life with the people you love. I think that's the biggest challenge. And then you learn that. Yeah, for sure, you learn that. And it's not only in a call center, as I said, this is in life. It's like the teachers sometimes, and this used to happen to me last semester. I was teaching a class. There were 25 students, and the class was at what time was the class? At 7:30, I think. um and um and uh, and there were only one student every time I had classes. And I was texting in the chat, "Hey, I'm waiting for you." 8 a.m. and there was no student. And I was pretty sad, like waiting for my students. And then 8:10, "Ay, perdón, teacher, me quedé dormido." And where are the other 23 students, 24 students? And then, I was angry. I was angry as a human being, like preparing your class and the students don't show up. I was angry. And how to handle that, like the negative feelings from your work to your house. So that's challenging. So Olga says, don't take personally, as this tip is a big challenge about control emotions. Yes, controlling your emotions is and it's not only in a call center, as I said, it's in every job. With your co-workers, like sometimes you can get some co-workers that take your emotions. We deal with people, like dealing with people is so challenging. Yeah. So people talk wrong things about yourself, and then you're this, you're the other one. I just hope you haven't had too many problems. So about this in the university, que fulanita de tal le hizo una mala cara y esto que a veces que no sé, algo tiene y qué te ha hecho, le dicen los amigos, y qué te ha hecho, no me ha hecho nada, pero hay algo en la sangre que no me cae bien, no sé, es que su sangre con mi sangre, I mean, ya la sangre. That's what people say, like, es que chocamos, es que él es Sagitario y yo soy Tauro. I mean, these people just invent so many things. Es que la gente inventa cualquier cosa solo para justificar que le cae mal, right? So that's really funny. I hear that. It's just very common. It's really common. Especially, I'm sorry, I have to say this, especially women, they say that. Especially that. And sometimes, with men is different. I mean, sometimes we don't care. Sometimes we don't care. It's like, mira, que él te cae mal. Está bueno, es su problema. ¿No? So, but like sometimes women take it more personally. I think that's my perception. Yeah, it says, you can't hear me. Yeah, but I think it's only Stephanie says, can everyone hear me clearly? I think it's only
Yes.
her. I think it's only you. Yeah, because I'm just taking it. So Julia says el sexto sentido. Probably that may be, like women have like this sense to perceive things. I think that's why women are more perceptive, I think. And probably. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we do not know too much about that. Okay, let me see my mic. Yeah, I'm having the mic normally. Okay. So, I mean, we don't really know. I mean, we just need to stay calm, right? And be kind. Okay, what's the number A? What's the last one that you got from the video? Beware ambiguity. Yeah, can someone explain that? So we have Jimmy, Rosa, Olga, Yesenia talking about. So Fabricio says, no matter if the customer sounds robotic at the moment of replying the customer back using phrases like okay, or even the simplest one, the agent must hold his or her beliefs and arguments as strong and helping us always. In the end, satisfaction becomes an issue of satisfaction. In the end, satisfaction because an issue was properly solved can make them feel just awesome. Yeah. I go out and okay, good. So what happens is with beware of ambiguity. Ambiguity is just not to sound like very robotic, right? It's not like saying okay, yes, okay, good, okay, perfect. So I mean, we have to say something. Sometimes we perceive anger that it really isn't. Customer will treat us like we are the family, and that's okay. We must always be polite. Obviously, that's really nice, Jimmy. I mean, they are not gonna be, oh yeah, very good, thank you so much, or very no. Sometimes they are very tough. This tip is very useful, says Jacqueline Velasquez, because it is something that normally happens in daily life. Yes, when we see that someone responds to us with messages with few words, we think that the person is annoyed or rude, but not all the time is like that. Probably that person is busy and we do not know, it. But we must be kind no matter the way in which the client answers us. Okay, so Nolasco says we have to be clear with our indications and avoid repetitive phrases. Good. Word with which we must be very careful. Yes, I mean, and I really like Jacqueline's comment. Sometimes when someone replies, okay, in a message, we start thinking, right? A saber qué le pasa, está enojado, está enojada, a saber qué le hice, and blah blah blah, and we start thinking, what happened, and like sometimes that takes our peace away, right? So we need to be very careful with that. I mean, people usually reply that way because they are busy, as Jacqueline says, and we don't know about it. So these were the 8 tips that have to be considered when when um, when uh, when dealing with angry customers. As I said, a challenge. It's really really challenge, but we gotta learn how to do that. So just to go a little bit further with the presentation, we have been talking about empathy in different ways thanks to the video. So we have already discussed what is empathy. So in our chat, can you please add an example on how to be empathetic with others? Something that probably we do every day and we don't realize it. Can you please write at least one example on how to be empathetic with others, or what you do to be empathetic or to try to be empathetic? I'm reading. How can we be empathetic with others? Yes. I'm going to try to read a couple of yours. Or if you want to open your mic and raise your hand first and share with the class, something, to be empathetic or how to show empathy. Uh-huh. Okay. So Fabricio Luna says, listen to understand rather than listening to reply back. Good. That may be a way to show empathy. Mm-hmm. So Jimmy says, when your best friend tells you she broke up with her man again, very common, right? Although it's boring to be telling her to find another, as best friend, you must always take her feelings into account and be respectful. Sometimes people just need a little bit of attention, and by taking her situation as something important, even though it is repetitive, that's a way of showing empathy. Yes. When you have a friend and your friend is talking about the same problem over and over again, as a friend, you gotta be there, try to be supportive and be there. Alicia says, I'd like to help you to find a solution. Yeah, to be there, telling them, because sometimes we don't know how to help, right? But at least to be there and asking, right? So Jessica Noemi says, when a friend is worried about a situation, so we listen. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody is worried. I'm worried today. Or sometimes people don't tell you that they are worried. You see that the person is worried. Good. Thank you so much for your messages. I really like Jimmy's because that's very common. I used to have a friend who used to call me every Saturday when he was drunk. He was like, hey man, I'm over here, you should be here, and I can be supportive and show empathy, but I'm not going to be in a bar every single Saturday, right? So yeah, and it was the same thing, his girlfriend left him because he was drunk, and he continued drinking more. So Gabriela Romero says, show emotional support or give emotional support. Give them your trust and affirmation. Yes, that's true. Show them emotional support. Be there. I always emphasize a lot with empathy, be there. That for me, empathy is like that. Be there. When someone needs help, be there. Obviously, be there it means a lot of things, as Gabriela says, emotional support. Nolasco says, if a student is going through economic problem, the university should be empathetic. Yes, unfortunately, there are some things that are hard to explain. And even though there are policies from the institutions in general, they should be more empathetic. I know, and I totally understand that, Marlon. Yeah, sometimes it's like, si no pagan, no va a poder seguir. So, and they don't even ask, what the problem is. So yeah, it's hard, but like these are higher problems. So teacher Mabel Medrano says, acknowledging the pain the other is going through. Yeah, and acknowledging is something really important too. It's like to accept, right? And say, yeah, there is something happening. So that's acknowledging. To tell the things that they are and to understand them. Good. So that's a little bit about some examples of showing empathy. I have one more from Rosa Maribel. When we listen to another person about a problem and we give them advice. Yeah, we have many people, uh, people are worried about different things. So we should be there, listen, and probably if we know how to give a piece of advice, give a piece of advice. So thank you so much for your all your participations. Jimmy says the greatest act of empathy I've seen since last year is that currently most public school teachers don't complain about how much work they have after the pandemic started, and they care about those students who got no internet. Yeah, yes. Um, I think that with the pandemic, uh, people have become more human. That's my perception. I don't know if you've seen the same. People have become more human. Teachers try to be closer to students in some ways that probably they were not in the past. And as Jimmy said, they do more of their jobs and try to help students a little bit more. Obviously, teachers are not getting paid more. They have to invest more. I have met people, I have met teachers from different parts of El Salvador, and sometimes I hear their stories about, like traveling to see how the kids do because they do not have communication with them, as they don't have phones, or they are poor and then they don't have access to technological devices. So I think that's right now we see more empathy on people. You are sick. Unfortunately, you got COVID. We see in social media people asking for blood, right, to recover, and people go and do it. So I think my perception. I don't know you. I mean, but I think people are more empathetic with all this situation. So that's a little bit empathy. Thank you so much for sharing. But if we're talking about our field in a specific, basically empathy deals a lot with communication, right? And part of empathy is that, communicate. Communicate is to listen and to speak. Now, if you have problems with communications, you need to evaluate yourself, right? And then you say, how can I improve this? So building relationship is another important skill to develop. There are some phrases that show solidarity in this specific case. These phrases, obviously, what will do is that you build rapport with the caller. These phrases, what they usually tell you is that you are there, you want to be friendly, and you want to be understandable. The key is to keep these cues um, during the whole call. Even if you have problems, to solve the issue, you need to be very solidary and see how you can help. There are some expressions. Let's use, you have the quotation over here. This problem wasn't your fault, but I really need to get this booking done quickly. Yeah. So there are things, there are responses that sound empathetic. For example, that's a terrible thing to go through. I'm sorry to hear that. This is something that also we observed in the video, right? That is an empathetic response, but also is to show apology. I see what you mean. That would be upsetting. Let me see what I can do. I understand that's awful. What can I do to help? Good. Now, there are these situations, right? We are going to practice these empathetic responses, and I want you to write them down or go back to see the presentation in the video, or check the presentation, the document, and you are going to provide empathetic responses to these specific situations in your website, right? For example, someone's wallet was stolen and the person lost the documents. What would you say to sound empathetic, right? Let's say someone else lost a wife or a husband, and this person, as you know, I don't know if you ever lost someone in your life that is really important, but when you lose someone, you don't think about what is happening, right? So imagine this person lost his or her wife, and is having this situation, like with the insurance. What would you say to sound empathetic? And another one, you're traveling or you are commuting, and then you have problems with your car, and you are calling an insurance to send a tow truck, so I mean, with these three specific scenarios, I would like you to work on them and provide an empathetic response in your website. I'm gonna go back and check them, so just for you to practice them, okay? Now, something to keep in mind too is about the first impressions. And this is something really important to think of, because the first words that you say in a conversation are the ones that are going to mark the whole speech that you will give. So the first impression count, as it says. So let's say, Ana Gabriela, can you please read this slide for everybody?
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Okay, first impression, you only get one. How? Thoughtfulness in meeting the customer needs, personal responsibility for the customer, quick problem solving for the customer, offering immediately assigned assistance, friendliness, using customers' names in a conversation, pleasant voice tone, and neatness, and polite and co- courteous manners.
Courteous manners. Okay, thank you so much. Very good. So the most that you can get from this, the best agent that you will become, right? From all of this, you need to follow. When you need to try to follow them all to become more skillful and in work in a call center. One that really caught my attention was while working in a call center, uh, they usually tell you, use your voice, try to sound pleasant, not to speak faster. You just try to be understandable. Remember, you may speak to an elderly person, this person may have hearing issues, or you may be talking to someone that probably is not from the United States, and etc. So try to sound pleasant, that may say. Also, another thing, try to use the customer's name, Mr., Mrs., yeah, to sound respectful, and you will get through this, right? First impression counts, so person may feel comfortable or uncomfortable basically on how you treat him or her. So there are some factors that create a negative impression. And the first one is making a customer wait. That should not be happening. You say, oh, can you please wait for a minute? I'm going to put you on hold. And then, after 5 minutes, the customer is waiting. So what's going to happen if you put on hold someone for a long time? That person is going to be more upset, may sound angrier, and we don't want that. So not answering the phone promptly. And I used to see that a lot. The phones are being transferred to your phone. Uh, and then people will just look at the phone ringing, probably because they are lazy or they don't want to speak, but then someone is transferring that call to you, so you gotta answer quickly. uh, Also, a negative impression is seen when you don't say please, when you just give order, or when you do not think, when the customer is doing something for you. The other one is speaking loudly or condescendingly to customers. Condescendingly to customers. So means is you don't need to talk loud, or you are just trying to make feel the customer that you are not help at all. Like, oh yeah, probably I may help you or something like that. Another thing is focusing on another task while addressing or servicing a customer. This is happening more frequent right now because uh, agents are taking the phone calls from home. So while working from home, it's more challenging not to focus on that. But if you are working inside and you are working in a specific place, they usually take the cell phone off. That used to happen. That happened a lot. So that the agents were not able to have their phones with you. They only could have them in their lockers, because sometimes they are assigned. Most of the time you have lockers. So in your locker, you may have your food, you may have your phone, and etc. So yeah, computers are just for taking phone calls most of the time. So that point. There are some things to avoid. For example, saying I don't know. That's not that's not correct. If you say it, you're gonna cause an expression that you are not capable of doing it, and the customer is gonna tell you, if you cannot help me, please transfer your call to another person. or that's not my job, that's not my department, or calm down. This happens a lot, like when you try to calm somebody down, that person is gonna be angrier. So that doesn't work. That's not my fault. I mean, yes, I know it's not your fault, but you shouldn't tell the customer that. You need to talk to my supervisor. I mean, as I've been emphasizing in the last Sundays, you do not need to um, escalate the phone call to your supervisor. Never. I mean, unless the customer is really, really upset, you can do it. But don't transfer calls. Okay. So there are some helpful reminders to be polite. As I said, instead of saying, I don't know, you say, I'll find out. You say no, you give an alternative of what you can do. You don't say, that's not my job. You say, okay, let me find the correct person who can help you with this. Or you say, you're right, this is bad. My company sucks. You don't say that. You say, I understand you feel like this. Let me help you out. That's not my fault. Instead of saying that's not my fault, you say, let's try to do something. Or let's see what we can do about this. You want it by when? I'll try my best to give it to you on this. Calm down, I'm sorry, and so on. Now, this is something really important. There are 5 things or 5 steps that you need to follow to solve an issue. First, to validate the customer's feelings. If you hear the customer is upset or sad, you say, I understand what you say. I understand how you feel. So validate the customer's feelings. Normally they are negative, right? You're not gonna acknowledge something positive. Yeah, you won't do that. So number 2, apologize for the inconvenience. You say sorry. That's something that we learned from the video too. You say sorry, even though it's not your fault, but on behalf of your company, you have to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this. I apologize for what you have gone through. So that's number 2. First one, validate customers' feelings. Number 2, apologize for the inconvenience. Number 3, offer a solution. That's what you're getting paid for. You need to offer a solution. You tell the person, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Let's make it up. I know you were not expecting this to happen, but we're going to find a solution. I'm going to give you a solution. I can offer you this. I will give you this. If the person is still mad, to try to find out what the person wants. Obviously, everything on the limits, right? As the customer, if he or she is satisfied, that's something that you can ask, yes, or sometimes they tell you, or you tell them. It will depend on the company. After you finish the phone call, you say, okay, is there anything I can do for you? And the person says, no. Okay, so right now, if you have a couple of do you have a couple of minutes? And the person says yes. Well, you tell them, okay, right now I'm going to transfer my phone call. One of my supervisor is going to ask you some things about the service that I have provided you this day. Sometimes they do it like that, or sometimes if you have the email, they tell you, you tell them, hey, so thank you so much for letting me know what you think. You're going to be receiving a survey about the service that you received today. So if you find it in your email, please blah blah blah, and just send them. Good. And then at the end, you thank the customer and then you wrap up. That's the expressions. Okay, thanks for calling. Roberto Carlos assisted you this day. Is there anything else I would like to? And is there anything else you would like me to do for you? Or okay, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Okay, so you need to thank the customer and wrap up. Also, with the wrapping up, most of the companies tell you that you need to summarize what you did, right? They ask you to do that as part of acknowledging that the customer should know. So it wouldn't be something like that. Okay, Mr. Gutierrez, it was a pleasure to help you. So this day you called us because you had some problems with your modem because it was not working. One of the lights was indicating that your Wi-Fi was not working properly, and I assisted you today. We verified that there was a technical problem with your box. You unplugged the modem, and after unplugging the modem, I was able to help you um, through my system. We gave you another code. You tried out that the internet was working. You turn on your computer and you check that the internet was working properly this time. So sometimes you wrap up, you summarize what you did for the person. Yeah, so that's important. Now, there are some things to build rapport or to build empathy. Always ask things with could, may, and would. It's really important. You need to ask, can I do this? Would I do this? Can you please give me your phone number? Would you do this for me? Instead of just give me your address. No, could you please give me your address? Would you mind giving me your address? So you know all the modals, right? Always thank the customer. Be empathetic, what we learned today. Be efficient. Try to give your best. Try to solve the issue as fast as you can, right? Be accurate. Tell the truth. Don't lie. Don't invent. Don't tell them that you're going to do something and then at the end you don't do it. If it is something to be solved, do it as fast as you can, and you tell the customer, hey, I know we have an issue, but it's something really light. I'm going to help you out, and in a couple of minutes this will be done. If it is something that you cannot do, you have to learn, right? Okay, I'm really sorry that all these things happened. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to transfer to one expert in this. I'm going to check your box and etc. That's something that an expert does. Right now you are calling for this, and that, and we check that there is another issue. So you need to tell the truth all the time. Also address the customer by last name or first name. Particularly, I may recommend you to use Mr. or Mrs. in the last name, right? Mr. Smith, Mr. Hernandez, right? So you use this. Now, a little bit about dealing with customer dissatisfaction, which is something in order to show empathy, to get empathy. People in the US usually call because they are dissatisfied and they need compensation. So basically they call, someone is responsible for this. You need to be empathetic, and part of being empathetic is to give compensation. That, as I said, will be up to the company you're working with. Compensation works in different ways. For example, they can provide the customer a short discount for the next purchase, or they may offer another product, a bigger product, in order to compensate probably a product that the customer got and it was not expected. So in the US is, okay, I'm not happy, I need something in return. Give me something in return. I'm not happy. And when you do this, person, the person feels happier. So that's part of being empathetic too. You know, like to if it is in your hands and the company allows to give something back, right? So you need to deal with that. So dissatisfaction come from different things, but normally, the color is there because they want something, basically. Good. So this is a little bit about showing empathy, right? So a little bit about showing empathy works like in different ways. We have to build rapport. Yep. So this is what we're checking. I mean, just to summarize a little bit, you need to evaluate yourself as an agent if you are empathetic. You need to learn some phrases to sound solidary. You need to provide responses that are empathetic. You need to show these phrases or these responses. Take into account that first impressions matter. So you need to be very careful on how you show your personality to the caller. Be careful with all these expressions or these actions that create a negative impression. Have to avoid some phrases too. And instead of those phrases that are negative, there are some alternatives. There are also 5 steps to solve an issue, to validate the customer's feelings, to acknowledge how he or she feels, to say sorry, to give a solution, to ask if the person is satisfied or not, to thank the customer, and also give a summary of what you did. There are some tips to build rapport using modals. Thank the customer, be empathetic, efficient, accurate, and call the customer by his or her name. Now, also be careful with being empathetic, especially by giving compensation if it is in your hand to do that. And just to close a little bit on this, I'm gonna show you. I would like you to take a look at this website. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna give you the. I'm gonna give you the 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 link in the chat. And let me check. I'm gonna write it in the chat. So over there in the chat, you have this website. Another skill that you have to develop when working in a call center is to type fast, right? So this is a website where you can take lessons. You can sign in, you can create your account, and what you do is that you take lessons to type, right? And this is, I mean, particularly T space line space Ninten space. So what you see, it's indicated me what I need to type. Space, ninter space, length and space. So there are many. You can practice them. And at the end, you keep on practicing. As I say, this is something that you need to develop too. They seem to be the same, but no. So right now, what I'm practicing, as you can see, is the TENL. Believe me, it's very addictive. Like if you like to type, and then the same. So if you want to practice specific keys, so right now I'm practicing the N, right? The first one I was practicing the E, and so on, and you get the score. So this is the speed for your lesson. I have increased, you save it. So it says the average typing speed is 35 words per minute. So that's what I type. Typing speed is 35. Confidence level 1, learning rate uncertain. So you can practice, as I said, you can create your profile and you can sign in. So as I said, right now I'm still in practicing the lesson with the N. That's what I'm practicing right now. And then after I finish, you're going to see that you get more skillful. And then right now I pass with the S, right? Because it's you see, I did it with 44. I mean, a little bit more, but basically I'm using the same and so on. I mean, you can practice this at home. I'm just showing you. This is a great website. I used to use it. Right now I'm not using it right now because I don't have like too much time, but it's really good that you practice this uh, with with your keyboard. Normally, as I said, in a call center, you need to type fast and develop this skill. So besides all the things that we have learned today, you just make sure that you learn also how to type fast, because that's something that you have to do. We need to do. So then you continue, click to activate, and I'm going back to my class. You can do it as like slow. And then you can add more speed later, etc. Just I need to stop. Okay, good. So I just wanted to show you this also, how to type fast. Try to type fast. Keep the website. Practice with this. We don't have an assignment on this because this is something extra you need to practice. So far you have only one assignment for this week, that it is about the situations. Also, I'm going to show you this. Obviously, we don't have time, but this is something that to take into account. Uh, um, some criteria, let's say, that some supervisors may have. Did the agent use active listening? Active listening is listening and then respond. Did the agent show empathy? Yes, no. Did the agent handle all of the problems? Yes, no. Why? Will the customer need to call back about these issues? Yes, no. Why not? Did the agent use solidary cues to show willingness to help? Okay, so this is something that was part of the activity, like to create a conversation, because we don't have enough time. Right now it's 9:57 and we have covered so far the topic. So this is what we had to do. I mean, we were going to make groups of 4 and we were going to create a role play, right? So this role play, I mean, we're not going to do it. As I said, we don't have time. But instead of that, remember that is as we learn, it's really necessary to be empathetic, right? You have the three situations that we checked in and here, this one, three. We have this assignment, provide empathetic responses. And this is what your homework is. Why do we have only one homework assignment? And this, you may say, no, but this is very easy. Remember, by next Sunday, we are going to finish the module. It's Sunday number 6. But you need to create your assignment, right? You need to create your conversation. And what I'm going to show you right now is the rubric that I'm going to be using for evaluating the role playing or the conversation that you are going to create. So the rubric is this one. There are 5 topics that I included. No, 4 topics. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5 topics. And these topics are the topics that we have studied so far in our module. Being clear and polite, predicting customers' needs, giving instructions, diffusing anger, showing empathy. So your task is the conversation that you have to create needs to meet the 5 criteria, the 5 topics that we have learned. So that's going to be your task, to create the conversation in which you show how to be clear and polite. Number 2, to predict the customer's needs. You need to show that. Giving instructions, you need to be skillful on that too, diffusing anger and showing empathy. With the content related to this, and there is also specifically with fluency, pronunciation, grammar, teamwork, and vocabulary. Got it? So this is the rubric to be used for the role play. And I'm going to try to explain in 10 minutes where you are going to do the role play. Got it? Yeah, and then I'm going to show you right now where to do the role play. Let me see. Good. Gonna share my screen with you. So this is what this is where. Have you ever used VoiceThread? Can you please write in the chat if you have ever used VoiceThread? No, 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 no. People say no, 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 you haven't. Okay, good. Very good. That's very nice. I'm glad. I'm going to show you something probably new for you. So the name of this website is called VoiceThread. In VoiceThread, what we can do is to have collaborative assignments or collaborative work, right? Basically, that's what VoiceThread is. You need to create your account. So you come here and you click in register, right? I'm not going to click in register because I have already created my account. Everybody in the group has to register. You can do it with a normal email account. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign in because I already have my account. I already have it. Okay. It will take you just a couple of steps. And this is the dashboard. Over here, you have some things. As you can see, it's in Spanish, which may be easy for some of you. You are not going to pay attention to any of this because it's not necessary. Here you have my account. You can create only 5 threads or 5 projects, right? So the first step, if you have problems to understand what I'm explaining, go back and check the video, right? Because I'm going to try to do it quickly and clear. So as I said, everybody has to create an account. Got it? Then one person in the group has to start the thread. Remember, thread es hilo. Una persona tiene que crear el hilo. That means one person has to create the project. It says crear. It says agregar medios or drop here. Let's say from my PC. So my recommendation, try to create a document and let's say with your names. That is the first one, right? The first one is with your names. I'm gonna use one screenshot. Let's suppose, okay, it is this one. This is the first slide, and it needs to have your names. Let's say cargo project, right? That's the title, and save. You don't need to write anything else. So you need to have a document, and then what you are going to do, it says editar if you want to change the name, etc. But that's not what we want right now. And in here, the person that created the first needs to come here. Let's say, no, over here. Comment. So the first person is going to comment. And as I said, this is the first slide. Let's say the front. How are we going to do this? There are different ways that you can add a content or material to this. You can add text or add a comment. Obviously, we are not going to work on that. You can add a phone call or add a comment in the font. What we are going to do is this one. Grabar un comentario de audio. And this is what you're going to do. You start recording, it says 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you start commenting, right? And then you say, I don't know, ringing. Hello, Roberto Carlos Flores, how can I help you? Stop. And then what you're going to see, for example, let's see, were you able to listen? Yes, right, I think. I didn't share sound. Okay, so over here, as I said, I added the comment, right? A voice comment. You see the comment? Let's say. say save. So what is happening? I added a comment. See? And then you start commenting, right? And then you say, I don't know, ringing. Hello, Roberto Carlos Flores. How can I help you? So then is where you have, right? So far, the first person has added a comment, a part of an audio. Got it? Then you are going to go and you're going to add probably the same slide or another one. You can put another slide. You can create a slide, with the logo of the university or something like that. And that's the point, that you need to create to add comments. Or also you can just add another one by clicking in here. And then you say, okay, perfect. I understand what your problem is. Just let me verify some information. And then you say, it's saving. So what I have right now is 2 audios, right? But that's for me. This is my section. Obviously, you're going to have your script, right? And you are going to add or move. You can see I am moving the audios from one part to another one. Yeah, the first one was the 13 seconds. It gives me the time over here. So it's easy to identify because it has the time. So you know which line it is, right? So you can do this isolated one by one, and you give your lines, and I can click in here. I'm gonna make another comment, audio. Okay, so thank you so much for providing your information. So this is what we're going to do. I'm really sorry about what happened. I'm gonna guide you through a series of events that will help you fix your problem. So stop it. Oh, and loading. So I already have 3 audios, right? I have 3 audios. And then I can come here and then you start commenting, right? And then you say, I don't know, ringing. Hello, Roberto Carlos Flores. How can I help you? And then you say, okay, perfect. I understand what your problem is. Just let me verify some information. Okay, so thank you so much for providing. So I can see I already have my 3 audios, and I'm little by little adding to the presentation. So I told you one person has to take the role and create the first one, or to add at least the first or to add the file that you saw that I added. And in here, as I said, it can be, I don't know, the names of everybody, the names of the members of your group. For sure, you need to put them, right? So I should know who's in the group. Perfect. So let's say my participation is more audios, and I record all the audios. Plus, here in the microphone, you also have this option. It says to record a comment with video. So what will happen is it's going to open the camera, it's going to ask me to record, and I'm going to record, right? This is not going to happen because, if you want to add your faces in the video, it's fine. You can do it, right? Stop. The problem is if you do it with video, it may take more time, right? So after you finish with the third audio, so thank you so much for providing your information. So this is what we're going to do. I'm really sorry about what happened. I'm gonna guide you through a series of events that will help you fix your problem. this is not going to happen because, if you want to add your faces in the video, it's fine. You can do it, right? Good. I mean, my suggestion, keep it with audio, right? Keep it with audio. You can record the audio. Okay, so it says, can I record it by using Zoom, mister? Because my script is about an angry that is talking while the agent is trying to explain what's happening, at the same time. Well, you can, I have seen some people doing it in Zoom, like a conversation. If you want to add, do it on Zoom, you can do it on Zoom. What I'm doing right now, I'm just showing you an alternative, right? The thing is how you're going to send me the file, right? If you download it, if you record the session, it's fine, but it's up to you. You can upload it to YouTube. Yeah, you can do it. I'm just showing you an option, right? You can do it in audio, you can do it in video. What I'm doing is just, I'm showing you a tool. I really love this tool because it works like this. And with this, if you do it this way, for example, if you don't like this recording, you erase it. But what happens if you are recording, let's say in a conversation and in Zoom, if you are in minute number 5, for example, and you don't like it, and it says, ay, la regué, disculpame, otra vez del principio, you are going to record all the 5 minutes from the beginning. Right? Do you understand what I'm talking about? If you do it like the way that you say, you record it in Zoom or in another tool, if you get to a 1 minute a period, and you need to record everything at once, that would be really annoying. Over here, as I have shown you, and then you start you only commenting, record, and then pieces. You say, okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you so much for providing. If you don't like it, you just erase it. It's easy, right? If you don't like it, you can record it again and record it as many times as you want, and it will be just that specific line. Got it? So that's what I'm suggesting you to do it this way, because it gives you the opportunity to erase what you want or to add more, and etc. So I'm going to the next part, but it is up to you. Okay, if you feel confident and you want to do it in another tool and etc., it's fine. It's up to you. I'm just suggesting you this. So over here, I have my line. So I'm gonna click in project, and then I'm gonna click in compartir. Got it. Now, this is what you need to make sure. It says que cualquiera pueda ver y comentar. You need to click in both of this, and then you copy the link and you share this link to your classmates. So your classmates, because they have created their accounts, they will have access to the file just as you saw it. And then they can add audios, and then you arrange the order of the audios. For example, the two of you were this close, you move yours, and then you include yours, and then you continue the thread. Por eso es que la website se llama Voice Thread, porque graban ustedes sus audios y van metiéndole la conversación en el hilo en que ustedes quieran. So that's what you need to do. So it says, permitir que cualquiera pueda ver y comentar. This should be important, comment. So you copy the link, just like that, and then you close it. and then you share the link with your classmates, and they are going to see this. They can move, they can record, and etc. So you just make sure that everything is on track. I mean, this slide, so you move it. Got it? And then you are going to send me the link like that. Ustedes me van a mandar el link exactamente como si se lo como que se lo comparten ustedes a sus compañeros, like that. And that is it. I mean, this is one alternative, right? This is one alternative. If you want to do it this way, do it this way. If you have a program and a software, good. If you want to do it in Zoom and you're going to record yourselves in Zoom, do it in Zoom. If you want to use Google Meet too and you want to record the screen and the conversation, it's okay. But as I mentioned, with VoiceThread, the advantage that you have is that you can erase the clips. Whereas if you record yourself in another tool, like in Zoom or in Google Meet, if you messed up one part, you need to record everything from the beginning. Got it? So it's up to you, but the link has to be provided by Sunday next week, right? So what we are going to do for next Sunday, because we're going to have a test, remember, we're going to get connected at the same time at 8. I'm going to give you a couple of instructions about the test. I'm going to see if you have any problem, any comment. I'm going to give you a couple of instructions too. Probably Mr. Peña joins because he usually joins the first and the last day. So he may probably join. And then you're going to have the whole morning on Sunday to complete the test in Campus UNIVO, right? This is going to be there. Good. Do you have any question? I'm sorry, I have taken longer today, but I needed to explain this. I'm going to upload the rubric too to Campus UNIVO so you can see the rubric. No questions? Perfect. So we're going to finish right now. If you have any other question during the week, remember to send a message in our WhatsApp group. So thank you so much. I'm going to be sending you more information in the WhatsApp group. So Jimmy says, would you please upload the task in a document to the campus? So when you mean the task, I mean the whole task. I mean the project. Yeah, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. Yeah, the instructions. Yeah, it's gonna be there. I'm gonna create the space for you to upload the link, and in over there you're going to do it. As I said, the conversation has to last, and this is something that you haven't asked. A minimum of 5 minutes. 5 minutes minimum. Okay, maximum 10 minutes. 10 minutes, right? So the instructions for the activity is going to be there. You need to create a conversation. Everybody in the group has to participate equally. The grade for the project is in group. It's not individual. The whole project is group project. So if one person has problems with pronunciation, that is going to affect everybody. Yeah, that's going to affect everybody. So make sure that everybody in your class, in your group, has correct pronunciation, or at least practice the conversation. Okay. So we're going to close right now. I haven't had breakfast. Ya me chillan las tripas and I need to eat something. Okay. So we're going to see each other next Sunday, and I'm gonna be sending you messages in WhatsApp. Okay. So thank you so much,
Mr.
everybody. Tell me.
When will the rubric be available?
I'm just gonna finish right now. I'm gonna start uploading everything. The rubric, the instructions, everything. I'm just gonna have some food and I'm gonna work on this. Just right now. Okay? Good, good, good. So thank you so much, everybody. See you next Sunday. Okay? Have a good weekend.